Top of that bracket, we had Sex Pistols with Anarchy in the UK. And then the Vinyls, Good Die Young, that one for the Glentertainer in Kwinana. And just there, that was Red Temples with Medicine Man. And very, very excited to have the Axeman from the Red Temples in the studio now. This is Chris Ellis.
Oh, thank you for that joy, man.
That's the crowd over there, mate. You can't see him.
I can hear him.
You can hear him.
Very much appreciated.
No worries, mate. Thanks for coming in.
Pleasure's all mine.
Joining the Sunday sesh. Pick out a few tunes. And now tell us about Red Temples. I read the bio, and it says 5 dads whose kids told us to form a band.
That is the synopsis, and that is the exact description.
Yeah. Tell us about how that happened, man.
We are literally a couple of dads that all our kids go to the same primary school. Yeah. So we all sort of met through our kids dropping off and picking up, and then school stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
And it eventually got to the point where, after maybe school choir or something, or Christmas carols were at the pub afterwards, and the idea of an escapism project was planted. So I got together with I can't remember who first. It might have been Paul first, and various iterations of the band at the start, and trying to find the right things, and people changing and chopping and changing. And then eventually we got sort of 4 of us together and getting some ideas. And then the 5th piece of the puzzle was Jim.
Yeah.
Who literally, actually, after Christmas carols, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, he was at the pub and he said, I heard about this band you're forming, and I'd like to take on the vocal position.
Oh, is that what he said?
Pretty much.
So did you not have a vocalist at that stage, or did you bump someone else?
I was just passing the time.
Okay.
Filling in the gaps, because I always said, I can hold a tune and stuff, but it was never going to be the right, because it needs something else.
Yeah.
And so Jim, I knew Jim's past. He was, from back in the 90s and stuff. He did like big day out tours with a band from Adelaide called
because he looks like a rock star, Jim.
He's a bit of a wild card.
Yeah.
And we love it. He's the extra piece that we needed.
Yeah.
Great vocals, great lyrics, good fun frontman type of thing.
Yeah.
It's really good fun.
So you're a 5-piece?
We are a 5-piece now, yeah. Which just seems to work.
Yeah.
So drums, bass. Jim's
tell us the members, man. Who's on?
Okay, Seath is on drums.
Okay.
Paul is on bass.
Okay.
Jim is on main lead vocals, frontman, guitar, acoustic guitar, whatever's needed. And then there's also Phil, who plays keys and guitars and arranges.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's really funny because we're all actually guitarists.
Right. Okay.
And the best guitarist is on the drums because he doesn't want to.
And he's the best drummer.
He's the best
drummer.
drummer. Yeah. So we share roles here and there and do swap things, and it's totally cool. It's good fun.
Yeah, cool,
really
man. And you've got a couple of songs I've noticed out. I looked on Spotify. You got that song there, and you got one called Concrete Boots.
Yeah, Boots is probably like an old, maybe original single we kind of just got together. We have a few more demo quality stuff, which is on SoundCloud.
Okay.
And Boots is on that with 5 others, I think. And then Medicine Man, we were actually a bit more serious and went into the studio with Paul Wood and basically recorded that. A bit more effort and focus on that.
Yeah, but you've got the full. I've seen you guys play down at Old Habits one night.
That's right. Yes.
Yes, I come there. It's a funny story that night. Do you want me to tell you the story?
Yes.
Because I was talking to you online.
Yes.
And I had to go to another gig that night, and I forget who it might have been. Belgravia at.
It might have been
at Amps, I think.
Yes, they were on afterwards.
And I think it
very close.
It teed up where I could go and see them, and then I could come and see you guys. And you said, come along. I'll leave your name at the door.
Yes.
So anyway.
Did I? Was your name on the door?
Well, this is the story.
Oh, okay.
I rock up there, and I said to the girl, I should have my name on the list, Radman. And she's looking, lifts over the page, no Radman. I said, maybe it's just under Darren. And she looks, no Darren here.
Oh, dear.
I said, how much is it?
Oh, my God. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
I owe you at least 2 more door spots.
No, it's all good. I still come in. I'll watch you that night.
Yes.
And you had, the funny thing was, I didn't know anything about you other than talking to you online that, I think through Insta.
Yes.
I thought you were a bunch of teenagers. And I was shocked that, hang on, these blokes are my age.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realise. So, no, and you had a full set. It's not like you had a couple of songs there. You must have played a good 10, 12 songs.
I think it was 10 that night. And that was the Medicine Man, single launch.
It was,
thing.
yeah.
So we did have a few that we haven't obviously, we've got the songs, but we haven't laid them all down and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's like a mini back catalogue.
Yeah.
So we have got enough for, like you say, a full set. That night was awesome. That was really cool.
It was cranking.
We were pumped after that.
Yeah.
Apparently, rumours have it that the keg was drunk dry.
Oh, was it really? Oh, there you go.
So Old Habits was very happy with us.
Well, that's that's all part of it, isn't it? Absolutely. I mean, you got to keep the venues happy.
Yep.
So they're so go in there. I'm saying go in there and get blind drunk, but go in there and having a couple.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's such a good night out. And that's why I try to tell people. I guess it's different now. Like, I used to have to go to those places. I couldn't do these things sober, but now you can just go along, have a couple of drinks, watch a few bands, and it's a community. Yeah. And when you go to places, there's lots of people that you eventually will end up knowing, because they go from gig to gig, you get to know the band members. It's such a cool scene. And
I do like the networking for me is quite personal and very, Perth's really, really tight-knit.
Absolutely, man.
And I still love that and very, very proud and defendant of it.
Yeah.
And we meet other bands and then get them to come to play with us, and hopefully they let us play with them, and that sort of thing. Yeah. Because otherwise it's a bit of a hard slog getting gigs. Yeah. We sort of average probably once a month.
Okay.
Which, realistically, for 5 dads trying to get together even just to rehearse, is a bit of a task. But we find once a month and stuff is a pretty good number.
And you had one yesterday, afternoon one.
That's went well. Why I'm so croaky.
Yeah, that's all good. Yeah.
Speaking of the community thing, it's very funny because my in-laws were at the gig yesterday. They turned up early.
Okay.
And I didn't even know, and they turned up at I think it was 3 o'clock.
Right.
And we were on at 5:40.
Right.
And I said, "Oh, do you know we're on later?"
Yeah.
Oh no, we didn't. Oh, okay. But in their credit, they watched the previous bands, or the the first three bands. There was Missy, Steak Sauce, and Redcliffe.
Okay. Yeah,
unbelievable.
I've seen you put posts up. Was it you that put them up on Insta?
I think
one of you guys
will do that.
Yeah.
And they came to me after and said, "Oh, so glad we started early." And they said, "Oh, the 3 bands before you were so good, but we're just going to leave then." And I said,
"Leave on top."
So it's really, I mean, that sort of thing is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now, that's the thing, when people do get out, I try and take people out with me when I go, and they always enjoy it. It's such a good night out. Hey, I asked you to choose 3 songs, as I do all my guests.
I had homework.
I could tell you were my age. The funny thing is you were pretty quick to get back. Some people take weeks to get back to me. They're trying to think of 3 songs.
I can understand that.
Dan Connell he holds a record, 3.4 seconds.
Oh, what was mine?
7.5 seconds, I think. So. I think Dan Connell must have had his copied and pasted, waiting for someone to ask him that question for the last 10 years. He's just asked me, bang.
Can you ask him again and I'll race him off?
And funnily enough, similar songs to you, because you and Dan both chose Pearl Jam.
It was Black, wasn't it?
Yes, Black. Okay. So anyway, I said, well, we can't do that because you've already had that.
No, fair enough.
No.
If Dan took it,
Dan's taken that.
Dan, I appreciate your taste.
But this one is Pearl Jam, the first one you chose.
Oh, yes.
Song, it's off Vitalogy, Nothing Man. Tell us why you chose that one.
I suppose a lot of people would expect me to choose Better Man, but particularly on this album, I always found Nothing Man kind of like the dark horse. I think it was actually Jeff Ament that wrote the music and stuff, and Vedder wrote lyrics and stuff.
Okay.
But it's kind of like one of those classic sort of stripped down emotional rides that Vedder sometimes takes you on. And it's one of my faves. It reminds me of My Brother a lot.
Okay.
So that's kind of like a good enough reason to keep playing it.
Yeah.
Because memories can be good and bad, so you want to play stuff that brings back good memories and bad memories.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful track.
It is a beautiful track, and Vedder is just, you can't imagine anyone else doing it.
Exactly right.
It's so beautiful.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a listen. This is Nothing Man, Pearl Jam. Dave Graney.
Wow.
I mean, interesting. That one was for Coops. I hope you like that one, Coops. That was The Devil Drives by Dave Graney and the Coral Snakes. What do you think of that?
I thought it was actually pretty trippy.
Yeah, it's trippy. That is the word for it, trippy. What we had before that, we had Nothing Man from Pearl Jam. That was one of Chris's picks. Hey, Glenn has got back to us. Hey, Radman, talking about Chrissy. Were we talking about Chrissy? I can't remember.
Oh, Chrissy Hine.
No, not Chrissy Hine.
Oh, Christmas.
Oh, no, talking about Chrissy's. Oh, we were talking about Chrissy Amphlett before.
Chrissy
Sorry,
Amphlett,
yes.
Right.
I stopped in at Old Habits music bar last night and checked out Darkira with the amazing Chrissy Sandfeed on lead guitar playing her final gig with the band.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's left Darkira.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, she shreds like anything.
Well, she was on this show 2 weeks ago.
She was, yes.
Yes, and yeah, she's awesome. Yeah, she's in quite a few bands.
Yeah,
and,
I lost count the numbers.
Yeah,
that sounds too many.
78, I think it was.
Yeah,
and she's also, like, she's got 2 jobs. She studies full time. Like, wow. I don't know how she does it. Unbelievable. What did she say? She mentioned, on one of your previous shows, Chrissy and the band played a killer set. Awesome to see her. Worth checking them out on the socials. Yes, Darky. I've never seen them. I did see footage of them on. I think they were. Where were they? At Perth Rocks or one of those?
I think they might have been at Perth.
Were they there? One of those festivals down at Port Brewery.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I was supposed to go to that, but
okay.
I think I may have actually won tickets and I couldn't go because it was my daughter's birthday.
Oh, there you go. Fair call. Hey, we're talking briefly off air about your occupation. Quite interesting. You don't think? Tell us about it, man.
Yeah, okay. So the base, I guess I sort of fall into I'm a software developer, but a very strong tie to medical research and sciencey stuff that helps people is pretty much a simpler way of putting it. I've always been in that realm for a long time. I'm not an absolute gunning blitz programmer, but I'm certainly adaptable, and I have a very strong pull towards medical research.
Right.
Because basically, a fair while ago now, I was a twin brother. Unfortunately, he passed of stomach cancer far too rapidly.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, well, it's a long time ago, but it still feels like yesterday. But it's still good to talk about it. I have no issues whatsoever because if I talk about him, he's still around.
Here. Yeah.
So his name was James. We called him Jimmy.
Yeah.
He's pretty much why I play guitar and do music stuff and write songs for him and all that sort of, like remembrance, honouring thing, which is, again, I keep doing that because if I don't do that, then what's the point?
Yeah, no, fair enough.
So a long time ago I was working for UWA. That's when he unfortunately passed. UWA were amazing, allowing me to fly backwards and forwards to Melbourne.
Okay.
To be there and then come back and all that sort of stuff, and allowed me to grieve and recover. And then I decided I have a strong bond to that, and I still believe in medical research strongly. So
and what you're doing at the moment is you're saying
I'm at a company called CareDx, which is in the transplant industry.
Transplant,
yeah. So
and trying to help from the body rejecting organs.
Trying to minimise the impact of, or try and get the best match for a patient. Say he needs a liver. You want to get the best, closest match liver to you. So my company previously has these kits that basically do the DNA matching.
Yep.
To get that best chance for the patient to then buy as much time as they can.
Yep.
So that's a nice feeling when you see, and occasionally the US company basically shows us patients that tell their story,
right?
Which is so they're re-kicked to, this is why we do this.
Yeah, so it's actually sort of,
otherwise sometimes you can do stuff and you have no idea what it's actually doing.
Yeah.
Especially in the programming world, you might write an app that does something very little, and you may not even know what it does.
Yeah.
But you need to do stuff that helps people. That's awesome.
Absolutely, man. Interesting.
It's a good drive.
Yeah, well, interesting, but also worthwhile. And you can go to work knowing that you
can totally go to work knowing that sometimes
you're making some difference.
Yeah,
a massive
absolutely.
difference.
Yeah,
saving lives, perhaps. That's awesome. Hey, what have we got? Let's just kick it on with a bit of Placebo now. Ooh. Every you, every me.
That's a good one.
Fair bit of feedback there.
I love a bit of feedback. I think I did a lot of that last night.
Did you? Accidentally. That was Placebo. every you, every me. We're going to be talking to the Murphy brothers soon. Don't know if it's one of them, all of them. I've got the phone number to call.
So.
Now, you were just telling me that you had a bit of a moment with Chris Murphy.
I did have a moment with Chris Murphy, and he may remember this.
Okay, well, we'll mention it if he's on the line when we talk to him.
Absolutely.
What happened? Let's tell me.
I was buying a guitar pedal, a wireless guitar pedal.
Okay.
So he did the whole thing of looking on Marketplace and then just quickly seeing it and saying, yeah, cool, and not really reading the name until realising, oh, hang on, Chris Murphy? Is that the Chris Murphy? And then I didn't quite realise until, yes, I went up his doorstep to buy this pedal, and he opens the door.
There he was.
And we had an amazing chat.
Yeah, awesome.
It was very cool. So if he remembers that, that's good.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll ask him.
Ask him, yes.
I know. I think it's Kieran is the brother I'm calling, but he said he might have the other brothers on. I don't know. It's live radio. We'll find out what happens. Jump on if you're listening. Mate, we're up to the second song that you chose.
Oh, yes.
Just let everyone know we're talking to Chris from the Red... Is it the Red Temples or just Red Temples?
It's just Red Temples.
Just Red Temples. Yeah. Sorry. From Red Temples.
No, apologies.
Now I know. And the second song that you chose was Leaving Home by Jebediah. Absolute classic. Banger.
Classic banger.
And I thought I would take the opportunity to do a deep dive on the album and play 3 songs off it. So this week... It is what we call around here
Radman's Retro Classic.
That's really cool.
Oh, thanks, man. I made that all by myself.
Did you now? Oh,
yeah, that's my voice.
There you go.
Okay, so Leaving Home off the album's called Slightly Odd Way.
Correct.
From 1995. Why did you choose this song?
Back in the day, I was a bit of a Jebediah obsessive, so I've probably followed him around a bit. I think I've actually played Kev's guitars. He held it out and over the crowd once.
Really?
I have actually interviewed him very briefly.
What happened there?
Back in the COVID days, there's the guy that runs the Henhouse Studios, Rob Nassif. He arranged these sort of like mini Zoom conferences with fairly, worthy Perth musicians. And so he interviewed the musician for about half an hour. And then at the end, anyone that was online had a chance to ask a question. So I got a chance. I jumped on very eagerly and I asked Kev a question very nervously. I don't know if the camera was on or off. I think it might have been off because I was freaking out so much. And I asked him basically a question of like being a muso. Is there any time point where you just felt like it was just too much, not working, give it up?
Yep.
Because, I mean, I think we all questioned that sometimes.
And his answer?
His answer was unbelievable and honest and said, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's numerous times where he thought he just canned it.
Yeah, right.
But he hasn't, and he's still an amazing songwriter and doing his own solo stuff. So it's cool.
And this song in particular, Leaving Home, what's that mean to you?
I wouldn't say I ever wanted to leave home. I just, every time I listen to this and every time I've seen them live and whenever they play it and the crowd gets into it and sings along, it just takes me back.
Yeah.
And yes, some people don't particularly like it, but I think it's an absolute cracking classic.
I love this all. I've got a story about this song too. Yeah, well, and not that Jebediah would know about it, but I used to live in a house, a bachelor pad.
Yes.
The rectory it was called because it used to belong to the church and we used to rent it off the church that was next door. Yeah. So quiet neighbours. Well, we had quiet neighbours. They didn't, unfortunately.
Yes.
For them. And I remember one weekend I went away on camping. I didn't tell anybody. I don't think I had mobile phones then. And so no one knew, and they were sort of at the point where they were going to report me missing because no one knew where I was.
Wow.
And apparently they were walking home from the pub one night, and they were singing this song, but instead of leaving home, it was Daz Come Home. Apparently, they've told me this since. So this song sort of reminds me of that time back in the rectory because this album, like, we love this album.
Yeah, it's been played to death. It's on my top list albums.
I would like West Australian albums. Like, absolutely, would this be the best of all time? Like, could you think of an album that's better than this out of WA?
Possibly Carnival, Sound Awake.
Yeah, you reckon? Yeah, well, I mean, it's a matter of opinion. Yeah. Yep. but it has to be in the conversation.
Yeah, I've literally played this album to death on rotation, and still love it.
Oh yeah,
and recently saw them at the Hotter Than Hell gig.
Yep.
And again, amazing.
Yeah, they're still
kicking it.
They're still kicking, still producing good tunes. Yeah, absolutely. And so, since you know Kev so well, might have to get your number off him. Might have him on one.
I don't have that on.
Oh, you don't.
I've been sworn to secrecy.
Okay. Oh, no worries. Okay, well, let's take a listen to this deep dive on Jebediah, kicking off with Leaving Home. Careful on.
Such a good song.
Yeah, it's a cranking song. The whole album, as we said. Before that, we had Jerks of Attention, and top of that, Leaving Home, all from 1995, Slightly Odd Way. Hey, Chris, do you want to do a quick shout-out? Because I just had a phone call a little while ago from a special person.
Special person?
Didn't I tell you? Oh, I forgot to mention it to you. Your daughter rang and said she's listening.
Oh.
And I think your wife and the neighbours.
Well, they're actually doing the Christmas tree while I'm here talking.
Oh, are they? All 1st of December, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Thanks, Josie. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Dad loves you back.
Oh, isn't that nice? It's always good to have support.
Absolutely. Yeah. It keeps you going.
Absolutely, man. Hey, we're talking about the Murphy brothers earlier.
Yep.
And I think, all going well with a little bit of luck and everything, we should have Kieran from the Murphy brothers on the line. Kieran, are you there, bud?
Hello, fellas.
Hello.
How are you, bud?
I can actually hear him now.
Yeah, you can hear as well. He's going well. Got Chris here from Red Temples as well. Kieran.
G'day, Chris.
How you going, man?
Yeah, all right.
Hey, what's going on with the Murphy brothers? There's heaps by the sounds. Obviously, I've read that you got a new album coming out, which we will talk about in a minute. But also with that, you're doing gigs like tribute gigs and that sort of thing. So a bit of everything at the moment. Yeah,
it's an interesting sort of time for us. Most people will be aware that our brother Courtney has been battling with cancer this year, and it's made live gigs difficult. Like Chris and I have obviously been used to having our little bro alongside us for shows for as long as we can remember.
Yeah.
And when he's getting his treatments and stuff, his energy's pretty low, and but we're pushing ahead with the record. We basically finished recording it just before Court got his diagnosis, and we've been mixing and mastering, sort of throughout the year, and it'll be out in January. But on top of that, we wanted to press ahead with starting recording for the next one, and in order to do that, the idea was to do some sort of slightly bigger gigs, and to try and bring in a bit of money to help back some of those recording sessions, which is the idea behind the 70s Big One show, which I think is the one you're referring to.
Yeah, that's the one on the 15th of December. It's on a Sunday at 3 o'clock, which sort of clashes with my show here.
Well, it happened. We're just in the throes of probably pushing that back, actually.
Oh, okay.
You heard it here first. It's starting to get a little bit warmer, although today is messing with us a little bit, but it'll be 5 to 8.
Okay. Oh, well, you can... That's a bit better. You can listen to the first half of the Sunday session, then listen to the Murphy brothers.
That works out.
So, and that's basically, I was talking to Chris about this earlier as well. It's sort of a bit of an indictment on the scene, really, that you have to do, tribute gigs to support your live original music.
Yeah,
is that basically how it is?
I appreciate where you're coming from with that. The idea behind this one was we wanted to put together a show that was all about the stuff that we were listening to when we started playing, like the stuff that we grew up with.
Yeah.
So hopefully there's a few, there'll be songs that people know, obviously, but hopefully they're, you don't necessarily go down the pub every week and hear someone play Baker Street or sing from an Italian restaurant or those sorts of things.
Yeah.
To just to make a bit of a show out of it, and like I said, you can put a bit of work in, do one show and sort of make the money out of it that you would for doing 5 or 10 shows. And just because, like I said, with Court's energy levels, we can maybe bank on having him hopefully for the whole show, maybe for half the show, but there's been some shows recently where he's, we've got right up to set up and sound check and he's gone, fellas, I actually can't make this. So, we're in a tricky spot as far as that's concerned, but, like I said, what we want to do more than anything is just keep getting back in the studio, writing, recording, putting his beautiful vocals on our own stuff, and and keep putting those things out. Yeah, no, fair enough. Well, bottle of red, bottle of white. Exactly. So, I love that, Billy. In exactly that mood that Billy Joel. So. Yeah. Well, why not both? And it sounds a bit like that's what this show's about as well. I basically come in here and play all the songs I like from the 80s and 90s and a bit of 70s as well. What are some of the bands that you'll be playing on the 15th, Kieran? I'm just trying to think about the set list now. There'll be, it was basically going back through Mum and Dad's record collection. So there'll be a bit of Electric Light Orchestra, one of Court's favourites, Billy Joel, like I mentioned, a bit of Queen. All of those things that, when you turn it, so we're all late 70s babies. Okay. And we grew up in the country, so, like early to mid 80s, it wasn't, you didn't get exposed to a lot of stuff, If your parents weren't collecting it, you kind of weren't getting to hear it, which is, later on, I guess by the time we're starting to do our own gigs, you played Teflon before the Jebs were out. Yep. So you're hooking into different sounds, different vibes and things like that. But yeah, this is very much the sort of the big harmonies, trying to remember, we must be playing a Bee Gees song in there somewhere. Yeah, well, I do have something here. You got Queen, you got Fleetwood Mac, Rod Stewart, Badfinger, Jerry Rafferty, ELO, Bee Gees, Little River Band, and others. Those big 3-part harmonies that sort of taught us how to build big vocals and carry those hooks. So we just want to have a bit of a celebration, I guess, that lots of people have had a bit of fun with. We did up the poster, and Court looks like Michael McDonald from the Doobie Brothers. Oh, cool. His hair might not be as luscious right now, but the pipes are still with him, which is the main thing. That is the main thing, man. Awesome. And I want to have you on the show. I'm sitting in the studio here. We have discussed it, haven't quite got around to it yet, Kieran, but in the new year, I think the new album drops on the 16th of January. That's right, on 16th of Jan, and we'll make some time around there to come in and have a visit. It has been a funny old time. Yeah, I understand, man. No, I totally appreciate what's been going on. And just this gig on the 15th of December at the Lake Munga Recreation Centre from 5 till 8. And I just check your socials for tickets and details, I guess. Absolutely. Yeah. To be out on the bowling green under the... hopefully under the sun and the clouds and things, and not under the rain. Yeah, let's hope so. Mate. But I feel like 15th of December we're going to be pretty safe. Yeah, you'd hope so. Yeah, probably more sunburn than getting drowned, I would have thought. Hey, I was going to... I actually asked you to pick a song. I said, can you pick a Queen song? Then I'm going to give you a choice here, Kieran, because I noticed that you guys dropped a new song today called Ancient History. So now this is your choice. Do you want to play Ancient History or Queen, Keep Yourself Alive? You tell me. Well, I mean, look, personally, I'd love to hear Keep Yourself Alive because it is an absolute cracking tune. Early Queen, very hungry. But at the same time, maybe it might be nice for listeners to hear the new track. It is just out today. Yep. So even though I might be getting slightly sick of it through the mixing and mastering process, it's not a bad idea to let everyone else have a listen. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play both. Yes. For you. Everyone's happy. I was just teasing you. No, all good, mate. We're going to go leave you now with a bit of Murphy Brothers, Ancient History. Thanks for joining us, brother. Thank you, indeed. We'll see you again in the new year. No worries. We'll talk then. Cheers, man. Catch ya. Bye. Bye. The Dire Straits there.
Money for Nothing, the radio edit. Who we had before that? Oh, we had Queen, of course. Keep Yourself Alive on top of that bracket. The Murphy Brothers with Ancient History. How cool was Kieran?
Yeah, it's like a big song, that one. That was good.
Yeah, no, really cool song. Looking forward to the album dropping. And as I said, hopefully they'll be in the studio in the new year. We were trying to sort of get them on this year, but obviously a lot going on.
Absolutely,
for them. So definitely in 2025 we'll have the Murphy Brothers live here for the Sunday sesh. Hey, we've got a text message here from a young Kai Adams. Hi, Chris, you're an idiot.
I mean, at least he's direct and straight.
Yeah, he's straight to it.
Yes, hold him back.
No.
I appreciate his honesty.
You do know him.
I have a sneaking suspicion I know who he is.
Okay, well, that's okay. Can you play The Trooper by Iron Maiden? I found it in the... I don't know the song myself.
This is what Kai requested?
This is what Kai requested, yeah.
I'm impressed. Okay, go.
Okay. Well, no, but first of all, though,
sorry, yeah.
I am going to put that in the next bracket. But we still got your third song to play, which we haven't played yet. And this is Soundgarden, A Burden in My Hand, 1996, Down on the Upside album. Why did you choose this one?
Also a massive Chris Cornell fan. Soundgarden was one of the sort of big bands that I loved back in the 90s. Alas, never got to saw them live. I've heard mixed reviews of some of their gigs, but I still appreciated Cornell as his talent. His vocals were just insane in pretty much everything he did. I don't know why this particular track just resonates with me. I think it's it's a bit more simplistic, and it's almost he's just sitting next to you playing the guitar, singing right at you. And I feel that it feels like he's just there, and I really love that. And it's nice, deep, dark lyrics, and probably million levels of what it actually means. But I always loved this track. I thought it was a standout on that album. I
don't know if I can't remember if I told this story last week or not, but I'd seen. Well, I was meant to see Soundgarden at a Big Day Out or one of those big events, and by that stage of the day, it was late in the day. It was hot. I maybe had a couple of lemonades.
This is like most festivals.
Yeah, and I bailed. I bailed just as Soundgarden was starting, which I eternally regret. But luckily, I didn't go too far because my mate lived next door to Fremantle Oval, so I basically went to his house and just laid at the back
and just listened to it.
And listened to it. So I still heard it. But yeah, I didn't exactly see Soundgarden. But yeah, I mean, it's funny. Virtually everyone, I'd say half the people I've had in the last 10 weeks, this is my 10th show, have chosen the Soundgarden song from the 90s. They're and Chris Cornell, to a man, everyone just loves him.
Absolutely, yeah. And he's a standout.
Yeah, tragic story, unfortunately, but a unique individual. So let's listen to Soundgarden. This one is Burden in My Hand. Oh, Stevie Ray, I love you. Love Stevie Ray so much. And that one, Life by the Drop. We had Iron Maiden before that. For young Kai, he's just messaged through, now you're a bit less of an idiot. There you go, Chris.
That's improving.
Yeah.
That's good.
He obviously loved his Iron Maiden, The Trooper, and top of that, bracket, Soundgarden, Burden in My Hand. Glenn, what have you got to say there, Glenn? Another great Sunday sesh. Thanks, Radman, and thanks your co-host, Chris from Red Temples too. Hey, the Murphy Brothers' new song is a cracker. Yep. Till next week. Cheers, Radman. Well, cheers, Glenn. Thanks, bud. Yes, great to have the Murphy Brothers on the line. We've got Keith coming up next. I can see his car in the parking lot. A bit of rain out there.
It came out of nothing.
It did, didn't it? Yeah. I hope that hasn't ruined the barbecues out there. Hey, what gigs have you got coming up for the rest of this year? You got?
We have got one more.
One more?
December the 15th. That date sounds awfully familiar.
Oh, yes. Oh, no. Well, maybe, what time is it?
I honestly can't remember.
I
think we're on, it's 8:30ish, but it's one of those ones like the afternoon into the eve.
Okay.
And I apologise, but I can't remember the other bands. But there are some other bands which are all incredibly awesome, I have no doubt.
Yes.
Because every time we have these gigs with these new bands that we've never heard of, they blow us away.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I do it, so you can see stuff that you never even think of about seeing, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Oh, hang on.
Oh.
What's that? Oh, no, it's Joe Satriani.
Oh,
this means the end.
this is the practice thing to get you stretch your fingers.
Yeah, it is.
out.
Oh man, it is.
Yeah.
It is. It's. I've got a bad. See that?
Oh yeah.
That's why I don't play anymore. A long story.
Listeners can't see that, but I do.
It's a 90-degree angle pinky. Yeah, not good. So I can't play always with me, always with you anymore. It's been awesome having you
really
in,
nice,
Chris.
good fun.
Yeah, no, awesome, man.
Yeah.
Just for the listeners out there, I did mention earlier we got a new website, hfm.radio. So about 7 minutes after 6 o'clock, this whole show will be up on the website. You can go through to the Sunday Sesh page, and you can listen to the whole show back, the whole 2 hours of it.
You have it on high rotation, just over and over.
Over and over again. You do it for the rest of the week until next Sunday.
Why wouldn't you?
That's what I'm thinking, Chris. That's what I'm thinking, man. Cool. We should have young Keith. He's definitely here. I can see his car. I haven't seen the man himself, but I know he's here. So time for us to sign off. Thanks for listening, everybody. I was going to mention my Facebook page, but I'll do it next week.
We just mentioned it.
Well, I did, but I wanted to mention it more thoroughly. I want people to do me a bit of a favour, but we'll do that next week. We've got the Henshooter on next week as our guest host, so that should be pretty interesting. He's a fellow 1974 boy, same as me. So anyway, Joe is getting all excited. We've got to go. Keith coming in. Thanks, Chris.
My pleasure.
No worries, mate. It's an open invitation here as well.
I'll
it's
bring the
not
other guys
one
in.
and done. Yeah, bring them all in.
Yep.
I'll mention something to you off air.
Oh.
No worries. Thanks all. We'll see you again next week. If you enjoyed the show, tell your friends. Thanks, everyone. Bye.